stop paying principal and interest on your investment properties until you watch this. Because I'm telling you right now, you're chasing two rabbits at the same time. And this is why your portfolio feels heavy. And you know what, guys? I want to tell you good news in terms of ending generational poverty in my family. I'm down to the last 100K of my home loan debt. And by the way, when I'm talking about my home loan debt, I'm talking about my owner-occupied debt, the bad debt. Because on top of that, I've got 8 other investment properties that are kind of still running, but that's good debt. That's investment home loan debt. Now, some investors will clap back and go, hey, Q, wait, shouldn't you be smashing principal and interest on everything? No. If you own your own home, which is your prime place of residence, your PPOR, and then you have the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 8th investment properties like myself, and if you're paying principal and interest across all of them blindly, I'm telling you right now, you're running through the forest like a rookie. You're basically chasing rabbits, looking busy, and going nowhere. So in today's property roast, this is what we're unpacking. Today, we're going to expose the biggest repayment mistake investors make once they own multiple properties. We're going to unpack why paying principal and interest on everything feels disciplined, but is often inefficient. Again, not a financial advice. It's simply my own experience and my own humble opinion. And secondly, we're going to talk about the difference between non-deductible debt and deductible debt. And also, I'm going to go down my own philosophy. I call it the chasing rabbits model versus the sniper mode strategy method. And then in the video, I'm going to give you a clear visual table comparing both and how I structured one home plus 8 investment properties. And also in the video, we're going to talk about why high income earners will fall into this trap and why smartly sequencing debt is what separates buyers from the builders of generational wealth. And then we're going to look at the pyramid wealth building system, which is number 1 stack on the top is the buying property stage. And in the second sequence is a debt sequencing stage. And on the last stage to complete this wealth pyramid is designing a retirement strategy that protects your wealth and pays you a pretty cushy allocated pension so that you can have a healthy retirement. Now, before we start, I want to tell you 99% of people never graduate past stage 1. So right now, guys, let's go to the forest. Firstly, in this video, we'll talk about the forest and the rabbits. For example, you've been handed a rifle and then your family tells you, oh, darling, bring back dinner tonight, please. And you being the big man or the big woman or whatever you are, I didn't really care. You walk into the forest of wealth and then you see one rabbit and then you see another one and then you see another one. And then what happens? You fall into the most noobest thing that you can ever do is that you start chasing 2 rabbits at the same time. And in the next minute, 3 rabbits at the same time, and then 4. And if you're getting along with this analogy that I'm trying to present to you, you're like sprinting, you're sweating, you're feeling productive, but you're not aiming, guys. You're just reacting. And that's what I want to say to you in this first segment of this video. That's what paying principal and interest across every property that you have right now feels like. Like, I know what you guys are thinking. Oh, my parents told me debt is bad. The boomers like, debt is bad. Pay down your debt. So you buy one property which is unoccupied, and then you have other few investment properties. And then that mentality kicks in. Pay down your debt. And then you feel responsible. And you're like, okay, principal interest, boom, pay them all down. But let me tell you right now, here's the key. Come a bit closer. Shh. Not all rabbits are equal. You know, in the wealth forest, that owner-occupied home loan, your own home, that rabbit is non-deductible debt. Every dollar you pay comes from a full after-tax income. There is no structural relief, no negative gearing, no deductions against your taxable income. It is simply pure cash burn. While if you look at the other side of the forest, your investment home loans, that's a different rabbit. That rabbit, the cost interest to feed this rabbit, you know what? That's tax deductible. What that means is the interest cost on feeding this rabbit, this investment rabbit, can reduce your taxable income, which means the mobs in Canberra get less in their pocket when you feed this rabbit. So right now you see 2 rabbits, but structurally they behave differently. And you know what is the biggest new mistake? You're treating both rabbits the same. Like, I'm telling you right now, you're pretty dumb and stupid and financially blind if you're aggressively paying principal and interest on your investment properties over prioritizing paying down the non-deductible rabbit. Like, I don't get it. I speak to 1,000 savvy investors every year and I see them voluntarily killing their deductible debt faster. All the meanwhile, the non-deductible rabbit is still chewing through their wallet. And right now you must be scratching your head. Q, this analogy you're chewing through, what does that mean? It's chewing through your borrowing capacity. I see a lot of people with very high income, a major of their borrowing power is chewed through with their non-deductible debt. And then they tell me, oh Q, I want to buy these investment properties here and there. I want to grow another property. And then they tell me, oh Q, I already have 2 investment properties. I want to get my 3rd and 4th one. I'm like, mate, your current strategy sucks because you're paying all the principal interest on the investment property first. Like they're paying probably triple the principal versus their owner-occupied, which is chewing up a major of their borrowing capacity is left on just basic principal interest repayments over 30 years. Now, I'm telling you guys, even those people who call me high income net worth clients, they're earning like $200, even some of them $400,000. They are still noob in their mindset because they don't know strategy. They just behave emotionally. Now, before I rant on and yap on, let me put the numbers on the screen. I'll show you my current structure. I have 1 home unoccupied plus 8 investment properties. So right now, let me show you some tables, right? So let's go to another screen. So right now, this is my current structure. Okay. So to give you a bit of information, I had an unoccupied property about 10 years ago. Like I had a loan of $1.5 million. I bought that like 10 years ago, right? So the property's like, you can imagine, I live in South Sydney. So, it's a house. So, let's just say the rate is 5.5. I know the RBA has increased the rates probably about 5.75, but look, just to keep things average and simple, 5.5, right? So what happens is a lot of people have this, right? They have their owner occupied property and then they have like, a few investment properties. Like for me, 8. I'm just being transparent, right? So you might have 2, 3, 4, or maybe you have none. But if you're planning to buy investment property, this is my example. This is again, not financial advice. This is just what I'm doing. You don't need to copy it. It's just food for thought. Okay, guys? So basically, I invest properties and, I usually buy around $1 million to 1.1 and I usually focus on houses. So, investment properties, I'm not going to tell you where it is because of privacy and I don't know from above. So I don't want you to like start stalking me and all that stuff. So investment properties, $800K each, right? Say the interest rate at the moment is 6%, right? And P&I, because interest rate at 6% is pretty much lower than interest only, right? Interest only when you get a principal interest investment loan, right? So right now we're going to go to a scenario where we're talking about the chasing rabbits scenario. You're in this wall forest and you're chasing 2 rabbits at the same time, which means you're paying principal interest on everything. So right now, if you're paying, for example, 5.5% principal interest, that works out roughly to be approximate $8,520, all right, per month. And say for each investment property, say it's $800K each and you're paying 6% principal interest, it works out to be approximately $4,800 per month. Now, obviously, if you get, for example, 4,800 times 8, the repayment will be about $38,400 per month. So then when you go down the table, the strategy of chasing 2 rabbits at the same time or chasing 8 rabbits at the same time in my scenario is my monthly outgoing will be $46,920 over 30 years. So if I do this for 30 years, everything dies together. I shot these rabbits, bam, 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 bam.
We mad.
Bam, right? Like they're nice, clean, they're averaging out. The only biggest problem is you split your firepower in 9 ways, or in this case, 8 ways. But right now, let's talk about the second method, which I call the sniper mode method, right? This is the Katniss energy from Hunger Games, right? So Katniss with her bow, right? So right now, we're going back to the forest. You're not sprinting anymore because, you got the bow that could sniper mode shoot the bloody rabbit, right? And then going back to the table over here, right? So what happens is when you're going sniper mode, the owner occupied repayment will still be $8,520. For example, over here, right? At 5.5%, at this, it's still, $8,520, right? But instead of paying $4,800, which is the principal interest repayment, like hypothetically, right? You can replace this number to whatever, right? There'll be a stark difference between principal interest and interest only, right? In my scenario, $4,800 per property. Okay. So what happens is you start to switch them to interest only. For example, for my case, I did it myself. That's my prerogative, not financial advice again, right? What happens is the interest rate rather than, 6.6% right now, it might be 6.25, 6.35, but just to average it out, the interest only repayment will be around, for example, over here, $4,000, right? So from here right now, say for example, the principal interest is $4,800, which means I should be paying the $800 principal, or it could be $1,000. But anyway, for this example to be clear, right? I'm paying 4,000, but I should be paying 4,800. What that means is I'm freeing up $800 per property in terms of principal, right? Hold this point. Now, right now, if it's $800, hold that idea. If it's $800 and you times it by 8, that equals $6,400 of freed principal and interest bullets for me to shelf up into my Agnes bowl, right? And man, I have this bloody Hunger Games. Agnes has bloody one bow with bloody freaking 8 arrows, right? And then going back to this table, we put that $6,400 of extra bullets of principal that we should have paid if you're chasing 2 rabbits at the same time. We put that towards the owner-occupied bullet, or for example, this arrow, right? Which means in that month, I can potentially shoot up my bloody non-deductible rabbit by $14,920 per month in repayments. Now again, guys, just to keep things simple, we're not trying to add more money in, the total outcome is still $46,920, right? Same thing over here, right? I'm not trying to get you bloody hustle more, go get an Uber job, go deliver food, go drive people around, go work overtime to get that bonus so that you can pay down your loans faster. I'm saying you do nothing, you're just not chasing 2 rabbits at the same time, right? So what happens is it's the same arrows, bloody shooting each rabbit, bam, 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 at the same time. You're getting back all those arrows, and rather than shooting those investment deductible debt rabbits, you're smashing down your non-deductible mofo owner-occupied rabbit. And what happens is if you scroll down to this screen over here, the payoff is if you did the sniper redirect method, you can potentially shave 12 to 13 years, or in myself, maybe 20 years of my mortgage, right? Rather than chasing 2 or 3 or 4 rabbits at the same time and paying down your debt in 30 years. So in this example, just to be very conservative, you just did this method by doing a switch. Obviously, go get some financial advice, speak to your independent financial advisor, your accountant, and blah, blah, blah. If you apply this method, you can potentially collapse your 30 years home loan into roughly 12 to 13 years. And ladies and gentlemen, that is how I have managed to pay down my $1.5 billion debt in 10 years to 100K. But guys, let me put a disclaimer. I also earned a lot of money every year. So what I do on top of this strategy, I also actively use some of my net profit, my business proceeds, my own director's salaries, which I don't need to pay myself that much per year to survive. I redirect that into my non-deductible rabbit. But guys, even if I didn't earn more and if I was doing the same thing as you as a PAYG earner, say I'm on like $150,000 or $200,000 income, right? I can still effectively pay down my loan, not in 30 years, but with this sniper mode, probably in like maybe 15 or maybe in 20 years rather than 30 years. And not because I am earning more in this scenario, it's because I aimed better. And this is why in the third part of the video, we're going to talk about the 180K high income noob problem. And guys, this is where it gets spicy. Like I see people earning $180,000 to $220,000, even $300,000 calling me, booking my consults, speaking to me, right? Like these people are on top marginal tax brackets, 45%. And if they don't have private health insurance, they're even on 47%. And I see these people before they speak to me and they have to fill in a fact find, and I do a bit of due diligence and scenario analysis before speaking to them. Obviously, they pay the call. I'm going to spend the time to really look at their scenario. I can see that they're aggressively paying down their investment home loans in their portfolio. All the meanwhile, their owner-occupied home loan is eating up most of their servicing power. Like, let that sink in, guys. You have high income, you have a high tax bracket, and you're paying down deductible debt first. Those investment vehicles that's supposed to help you reduce your taxable income, you're paying that goddamn down first. Like, WTF. And then when they jump on the call and they tell me their scenario, and before I say a single word, they sound like really smart and smug. Oh, I feel so smart. I feel so disciplined. I feel so advanced. Until I structurally slap them with a reality slap and go, no, you're a freaking noob. And guys, it's just tough love, right? I love my clients. I love speaking to people who book a call with me, right? Because they have the balls to speak to me. Because I don't blame them, guys. Because nobody taught them how to sequence their debt properly. No one taught them that there is bad debt or how to reduce debt. And no one taught them how to prioritize paying down their debt. Which debt is important? In what order? Why should I do it? Because I'm telling you right now, guys, having a high income doesn't equal high strategy. Even if you're on 180k plus, you're actually at the disadvantage. You're paying 45% tax of your bloody income. You're basically working for the mobs in Canberra. So yeah, guys, here comes the roast. Like, let's be honest, guys. Like, some investors walk into the property wealth forest like they're tributes, right? Oh yeah, I've got 5 properties, bro. I built a beast. And I'm like, yeah, cool. You built a beast, but you don't know how to tame it, mate. Like, you're basically, let me see over here if I can find it. Old mate Peter from Hunger Games, right? Like, there was a scene in Hunger Games, like he's trying to like paintbrush himself, blending into the trees, thinking that's like survival. Or maybe like yourself, you're firing arrows into the sky, hoping one lands. Like, there's a lot of noobs in the investor wealth forest. They have no sequencing, no strategy, no night vision, no plan. And for me, who live in this wealth forest, I see thousands of structures. I see thousands of hunters every day, a lot of investors that speak to me every day. And in my last 15 years of mortgage brokering, I've modeled thousands of scenarios. I've seen thousands of patterns repeats. Some good, some bad, some rabbit chasers, some snipers. And here's my opinion, guys. And again, guys, just my opinion, not financial advice. I totally wholeheartedly believe that you should not be smashing down your investment properties before first smashing down your owner-occupied loan, right? If your owner-occupied loan is still $500,000, or some of you that I've spoken to you before, $1.3 million, and then your investment debt is like bloody $200, $300, while the property is around $1 to $1.5 million, right? That is the dumbest strategy, especially if you're earning over $180,000 to $190,000 of income per year. But then, guys, just to be humble a bit, I would respect that. That is my philosophy. There are 2 schools of thoughts, right? There are some people who do kind of prefer to smash down everything equally. That's fine. And I would say for those people, if you're in the retirement phase, for example, the transitional retirement, you're 45, and you plan to retire in like, say, 15 years, maybe think of ways to exit out of this property beast, right? Tame the beast. Because obviously you don't want to be at retirement phase at 65 and have like 30 years of investment debt. But all I'm trying to say is prioritize what you pay first, right? If your owner-occupied debt is still $1 million to $1.5 million, you should be paying this one down first. But then, guys, that's just my opinion. But at least right now, if you watch to the end of this video, you at least understand there's actually a different way. Because every time I speak to people on the phone when they do consults with me, they're like, Q, I didn't know there was another way. I didn't know that you can prioritize paying your debt. I thought everything has to be on principal interest because mom and dad told me. Mommy, they told me, don't have debt. You're going to be a good boy. You pay all your debt. Debt is bad. And I listen to my mommy and daddy. Your mommy and daddy is broke, yo. That's why you're trying to build the generational wealth for your next generation. That's why you're trying to end your mommy and daddy's generational poverty. Why the F you're listening to your mom and dad for financial advice? And don't get me started. There are some actually property gurus online on this platform that I'm posting, either Facebook, TikTok, IG, whatever it is, right? They're actually charging 3,000 to 5,000 people to attend their mentor seminar, right? To teach them how to pay down their goddamn debt. Well, this video already teaches you how to goddamn do it. You just do a switch. You don't need to pay someone 5Gs to go into some sort of Facebook group where everyone goes, well, yeah, pay down your debt, pay down your owner-occupied debt to, in 5 years to 7 years because of this seminar, right? Like, why wouldn't you just think, I could use that $5,000 of seminar or coaching money to use to pay down your owner-occupied property? Like, I didn't get why people go to those seminars. Are they just freaking stupid? Anyway, let's calm down. Let's resume. If you guys want to end the generational poverty curse in your family, I'm telling you right now, it requires clarity. And clarity shouldn't sit behind a VIP lanyard sitting in some sort of massive seminar room waiting for some guru to come out and, oh yeah. You know, all that BS, Tony Robbins, UPW vibe, right? I'm telling you right now, if you watch thus far, you don't need more hype, you just need night vision goggles. So what I'm trying to say is, if you enjoy this video and you want more information about this, either book a 15-minute strategy call, which I call a triage call, or a 60-minute deep dive where I can speak to you in 60 minutes, or if you need a round table of experts to run through this strategy, and obviously if you're in your late 30s to your early 40s and you require a transition to retirement strategy, and think about succession planning, estate planning, testamentary trusts, and you want independent professionals working together, book my 90-minute Platinum Accelerator call. But if you're not ready, just hit a like of this video, hit a follow button if you want more videos like this, and most importantly, smash the share button because knowledge is power. And if after watching this video, it makes you feel like, hey, there was something in me, Q kind of triggered something in me, good. That was the intention. Because you know what that means? It means you just caught yourself. You basically caught yourself chasing 2 rabbits at the same time and you didn't even realize it. So yeah guys, if you booked a call, I look forward to speaking to you. And in the meantime, you want more information, I do have my best-selling Amazon book, Keep Calm and Mortgage On, that helps you keep calm and mortgage on and own a lot of investment properties. Or if you have kids between, for example, that are in say year 3 to even year 7, you can get my 6 secret money hacks for kids. A lot of people have been buying this book and has given me feedback that it's great because it's got a lot of information on how to get your kids to have a healthy relationship with money. And that only starts if you start giving them an allowance. And this book teaches you how to start your kids on a monthly allowance to teach them how to save, invest, give, and most importantly, especially in this high cost of living environment, how to spend. So all in all guys, I'll see you in the next few days and thank you for watching another episode of That Property Grows.